What's up, everyone? Zach here, bringing you another Team Taste tournament report. You want to taste? Today, I'm bringing you my championship run through the Siege Game League Cup. It was a really well-ran tournament. It's a nice store, nice, friendly, nice tables, lots of space. And we do top cut in a private room, which is really cool. So, yep, really good time. But I'll get right on into the deck. I played VikaBulu, and I think it's a great deck for this meta right now. I'm choosing to play the 303 VikaVolt line. I don't think you need the charge bugs at all. You just don't. If you're getting de-evolved, it's going to be obnoxious anyways, but it's not like they can de-evolve and end you in the same turn out of the VikaVolt. So if we're playing 4 candies, so the odds of you having a candy in hand after being de-evolved is pretty high. Then we got our 3 Bulus. I don't like the 4th one. I think you'd rather go for the alternate attackers instead of the 4th one. But Nature's Judgment just is so good, hits 180 and 210 with the choice band, which is all you need for Zoroark. And then we got 3 Lele's. I cut down to 2 before, and I always found like I needed a 3rd. A lot of times I'll Lele for Bridget, and then I'll need a Lele to get out of that Bridget hand, so I need 2 in my deck at all times. And then with the setup, I am playing 1 Oranguru. Lets you draw up to 3 cards in your hand. It's really nice for the late game ends, and a lot of times you can play your hand out and still early on just get out of it, like if you can get out of Bridget sometimes, and just a really good card. And then I'm playing 1 Tapu Koko, and a lot of people aren't playing this right now in Bulu, but I think it's just so good, but it's also directly to hit Gardevoir matchups. The Flying Flip will set up the Gardevoir so you can hit 210 on it, and they need a max potion off 20 damage, or, you know, it's just really good in those matchups. And I even electric balled a few times. It's not a bad attack. It's really efficient. And then we got 1 Mew. The Mew is really good. Lets you copy any basic attack, and it also has free retreat. It helps you with the prize trade and like the mirror, and being able to use Nature's Judgment with copying Bulu's attack. So I think it's just a really good inclusion that lets you prize trade. It's good against Buzzwole. It's good against just anything with 2 shots, or that's trying to 2-shot you. Alright, and then for our supporter line, we got 3 Sycamores, 3 Ends, 3 Skylas, 3 Guzmas, and 2 Bridgets. We chose a pretty consistent just 3 line. I like the Sycamores. I think they're really helpful to get the turn 2 VikaVolt, and then I like the ends are always good for shuffle, but a lot of times the ends become dead early on because you're taking their 4 prizes within 3 turns a lot of the times. But Skyla is just so helpful to get the turn 2 attack. A lot of people were asking if I would play Volkner over Skyla, and that's almost 100% no for me, because there's so many times early on where you have to Skyla for a supporter. It just sometimes happens playing a thick Skyla count. And I don't like the 4th Guzma. I'm playing a couple switching cards, so I think 3 Guzmas is plenty. You can just run through whatever is in the active most of the time. For Ultra Prism, the Cynthia line, I'm still not sure what I'm doing. Cynthia's really good in this deck too. Maybe cutting an N, a Sycamore, and a Skyla even, maybe, and go to 3 Cynthia, but I'm really not sure yet. We'll figure that out when the time comes, I guess. And that time's pretty soon with St. Louis coming up. And then for items, we got 4 Ultra Balls, standard. We have 4 candies. I wouldn't drop below 4 candies ever. It's just too necessary to get them. And then right now in this meta, the 4 choice bands, you really need it to hit the 210. And it's just really good math on everything. And then we got 2 heavy balls. Usually you can go between heavy balls and S balls, but I like the heavy balls so much more. They can grab my Bulus, but more importantly, they are focused on getting my turn 2 VikaVolt out. As long as they can get a Grubbin down turn 1, then I am fine. And then we got 2 energy recyclers. Really good. I would never go down to 1, because sometimes you throw 1 away early. Usually you only need to use 1 full recycler in a game, but it's nice being able to shuffle in a couple cards too. So just really good card. And then I'm playing 1 Rescue Stretcher over a Super Rod. I like this Rescue Stretcher to get it back from the Pokemon right to your hand. A lot of times I'm using it to grab Mew or Coco or just another Bulu or VikaVolt, so I can rare candy the VikaVolt. And then I'm also playing 2 switches. A lot of lists were dropping switching cards like Floatstones and switches, and I was playing with switches for the last couple months, and I tried it without it. I just really didn't like not being able to attack turn 2 if I get my VikaBulu out. Just felt like I put myself behind too much, so I really like the switches. And then energies, just the standard 7-5. Let's see, 7 grass, 5 lightning. It's the standard. I would never cut 1 lightning like some people are doing. There's just too many times where I need that lightning in the deck. So this is a list. One thing that everyone yells at me about, I'm playing no field blower. So that was a complete meta call on the day. I knew there was going to be at least 1 garb at the tournament, but I really wasn't worried about hitting it. And if I did, I could just take the loss and move on with my life. I feel like field blowers are, to beat garb, you need either 3 or you just lose to it. There's so many times where when I was playing 2 that I would just lose to garb when the second field blower was played. So I really just think it's not necessary right now. I'm still not sure if I'm going to be playing none going into St. Louis, but there was a garb next to me almost every round at the tournament. I think it was every round but 1. There was a garb sitting next to me, so I really barely avoided the garb, but when you hit garb, it's almost an auto loss unless you have 3 energies on the board and can Guzma and kill it. So I still think it's fine not playing field blowers. It's one of those, like I said, I think you either need 3 or none. So to fit 3 in, I would have to maybe cut my switching cards and I don't know, maybe a Skylar or something. Oh, shout out to the Sweet Sleeves too. They were awesome on the day. But yep, that is the list. I think it's pretty solid. I only really dead drew like 1 or 2 games, and even then I was able to get out of it. So yep, I'll jump right on into the tournament report. So round 1, I hit the young boy himself, Jared Grimes, and he was playing Zork Lissapod, which is a matchup I want to see most of the time. It's pretty favored. If they start armor pressing like turn 2, then it kind of sucks, but he stumbled. He started Lele and didn't get any basic sound right away, and then he ended up, I think he ended me into all my candies, but I gotta bridge it myself, so I bridged it, or got a bunch of stuff down, passed over to him. He, I think, didn't really do anything and passed it over. And then, so I end up sycamoring away 3 of my candies. And as you saw, I only play 4 candies. So that was going to be, I was really just hoping it wasn't prize, the last one wasn't prize, and I could get out my VikaBulu. Because I knew if I could get 1 VikaBulu out, I could just win the game. And I actually sycamored into my other candy. I didn't get my VikaBulu out turn 2, so he ended up finally getting a Bridget and attaching an energy into the Wimpod. And then I top decked my VikaBulu, I got my candy VikaBulu, and I Guzman and killed the Wimpod, because that's all I'm really worried about, or else he just has to 2-shot me. So then went ahead there, and I just kind of won. He just couldn't get going, and I was one-shotting the Zorks whenever he got him out, so unfortunate for him. So round 2, I hit the man himself, Mark McDonald. So he was playing Buzzwole Lycanroc, and he got, like, I got my turn 1 Bridget, and he Guzma'd, slapped one of my Grubbins, and then I got my turn 2 VikaBulu, and I was deciding to put it on the one with 50 damage on him, or the clean one, and I ended up putting it on the damaged one, and that ended up being a mistake. I got him out and I slapped him. I missed knockout though, and then he ended up Guzmaing it and killing it, hitting it for 100 exactly because of weakness. So I ended up getting a VikaBulu out the next turn, but it ended up coming down. It was pretty close. It came down, I sycamored, and I needed to hit a grass energy, and I ended up drawing into 2 of my lightning energies, and they were the last 2 in my deck I had 2 prized. So that was just unfortunate, so I couldn't get the strong charge off, and he got the knockout and took the lead there and ended up finishing the game out. So after the second round, I was 1-1. Then third round, I played against Rigor, and he was playing Buzzwole Lycanroc too. This time, it was like I turned 1 Bridgeted, I had it in my hand and everything, and then I passed it over, and I only had 3 cards left in my hand, and he wasn't sure what they were, and he ended up grabbing a Sycamore instead of an N. And then so when it came back to me, I'm like, Heavy Ball, VikaBulu, Candy, Sycamore. And it was a clean Sycamore with the VikaBulu out. He's like, oh man. And then I end up Sycamoring into another Candy VikaBulu. So I got 2 VikaBulus out turn 2, and I got my Choice Band to 1-hit the Buzzwole, so I just kind of took the lead there, and there's really nothing he could do. I just did Bulu things. So round 4, I'm 2-1, and I get up paired against Alex Shmansky. He was one of the 3-0s, so he got down paired when the other 3-0s got an ID. So because there was only 5 rounds, and he was playing Gardevoir Sylveon, and he just had a rough start and couldn't get out of it. He started Ralts, and I think and put an Eevee down and passed, and then turn 2 he finally got his Sylveon out turn 2, but didn't get any more Ralts down. So I ended up Guzma, knocked out his only Ralts, and then he ended up Brigiting turn 3. And at that point, I took the Sylveon knockout, so I'm up 3 prizes to none, and I just kind of run away with it. So really unfortunate draws for him. And then round 5, I got ID Jamil. So going into cut, there was a chance that one person was going to bubble 3-1-1, and someone did, but I knew I wasn't going to because all my opponents except one made top 8. So I'm like, yeah, I'll take the ID. I'm fine with that. So I think someone ended up bubbling at like 34% resistance. So that's tough. It always sucks to bubble, but yeah, sometimes you put yourself in those positions, sometimes you don't. But it was something unfortunate. So then in top 8, I got my rematch against Mark, and it did not go well for him. He started the game 1, I turn 1 Brigited, and he started Rockruff and passed. So I just had to Horn Attack it for 60 to knock it out. So that happens. And then game 2, he started like Buzzwole and Remoraid and a whole bunch of energies, and he attached and passed, and I got my VikaBulu out and started knocking him out before he could get anything. And then it was just really unfortunate draws. Sometimes it happens, but in the best of 3, you really don't, sometimes in the best of 3, it's like, oh, one game it happens, but it was just really unfortunate for him. But so I ended up advancing into top 4, where I played Alex Shmansky again, playing Gardevoir Sylveon, and I really didn't see much of his deck because it was just a quick game before. So game 1, I was trying to get a feel. He started fine. It was going, and I wasn't sure if he was playing Max Potions, Parallel City. I wasn't sure what to play around. So I end up just he ends up actually just Guzma knocking out my VikaVolt every time I got it out. So I think I got 3 VikaVolts out of that game, and he knocked out all 3. So he ended up taking that one. But I had a pretty good feeling he was only playing 1 Parallel City, which is really rough for me because I'm not sure if he knew I was playing no Field Blowers and no Stadium. So if he got that down early, it would really hurt, but he didn't get it down early any of the games. So then game 2, I took a strong lead. It was going well, and then I just kind of stumbled. He took a couple knockouts, and it actually came down to he hit his Sycamore with 10 cards left in deck, hit his Parallel City and Field Blower. So I Field Blowered away my Choice Band on my VikaVolt, and he took away 2 Lele's with 20 on them each. So to win the game, I had to hit Choice Band, and I ended up top decking the last Choice Band in my deck, attaching the Choice Band, strong charging, and Guzmaing up his clean Lele for the one hit with VikaVolt. And it always sucks. It's always tilting losing to a top deck, but it was that was in my favor that game, just the luck. And then game 3, he just dead drew again. He started Ralts and passed, and I did my thing, and then he goes Candy Gardevoir slaps, knocks out my Grumman or something like that, and then he top decks an N before I think I ended up Nature's Judgmenting him for 210, and then he ends up Nning and getting some stuff set up and retreating the Gardevoir, and I ended up drawing into my Coco, got a flying flip, knocked it out on the bench, and I just kind of won from there. He couldn't get anything going, and it was just I was swinging every turn. And then in the finals, played against Pete. He was playing VikaBulu, so I'm pretty sure the list was standard VikaBulu. He was playing. I don't think he was playing a Mew. So game 1, we both knew this was going to come down to a coin flip almost. So game 1, he goes first. He gets to go first, hits his, Lily, gets set up, and then turn 2, VikaVolt, knock out my Bulu, and I respawn, and he respawns, and he ends up winning that one. Game 2, I get my turn 1 Bridget, he gets his set up, and then I just start swinging at him. I start swinging at him with Mew, so it made it so he had to Guzma around the Mew or go to uneven prizes, so that's where the Mew really helps in the mirror, make them take the uneven prizes, make him take the 7 prize game. And then game 3, he gets that clean Lily for 8 and passes. So he starts, and I get the Bridget, but he gets his turn 2 VikaBulu and gets the knockout. And then I think I whiffed VikaVolt my turn 2, but I end him, and he whiffed his Grass Energy to take a knockout. So when it came back to me, I started knocking stuff out, and it was still even, and I think another end just kind of secured the game. He had to get rid of a bunch of energies early, so he didn't have enough to strong charge, and it was just a really weird situation for him, and I was using my Mew again, so that game he actually ended up horn attacking my Mew. And then later in the game, he got a Vice Grip off on it, which is Grubbin's first attack that does 20. So he knocked out my Mew with the Grubbin. I think he might have been able to attach those energies elsewhere and maybe taken the game because I didn't have Guzma that turn, but that's all hindsight. But yeah, that was about it. So took my second win of the quarter, my third cup win with Bulu, but that's... Bulu just runs, when it runs hot, it runs hot. I've had days where I've went into tournaments with the same exact Bulu list and gone like 0-3 drop or 1-3 drop, and it's, it just happens that time, from time to time. Probably what I'm going to take to St. Louis. I'm not sure exactly on the deck list if I want my field blowers or not. I was thinking to play my own Parallel City, but reducing their damage also reducing their board reduces my damage, but... So I probably won't include that. I'm going to add a couple Cynthias. Not sure what I'm taking out yet, but I'll keep you guys updated. Yep, here, let's give a code also. So, maybe? There we go. Yep. Reward you guys for watching to the end. No, or skipping to the end. I guess I don't have any say if you do that, but remember, like, comment, share, subscribe. The Amphoroses want you to subscribe over here, lots more to come out this week. I think we got some Empoleon games. We got some Leafeon. Leafeon's kind of spicy, so be on the lookout for that. Later, everyone.